Check one. Check two.
Okay, this sounds really good. Can you all hear me? Awesome. Okay, so I could probably talk loud enough for everybody, but we are going to try live streaming this to see, because I got a lot of communications from parents that weren't able to be here tonight. So we're going to try that. Hopefully everything works. Thank you to Mr. Sevens in the back for making all of this happen for us. So my name is Adriana Plock. I am the continuous improvement coordinator here for the district. And part of my role is really working very closely with the Insight program at the high school. So tonight, I would love to be able to share some more information with you about what the Insight program is, specifically um, what it is, who the team members are, what the course experiences really specifically look like, what the benefits and expectations of our students are for this program, what the next steps are if your child is interested in getting involved in Insight next year, and then I will stay as late as needed to answer any questions that you have. So bear with me because there's going to be lots of information coming at you tonight, but hopefully we'll get all of your questions answered and you'll be able to leave here really feeling confident that you know what Insight is and be ready to have some conversations at home about whether or not this is going to be a good fit for your child. So Insight started 9 years ago with just a handful of people, and the program has continued to grow over the last couple of years, and our team has, as you can see, gotten substantially larger. So I have the privilege of working very closely with all of these individuals as part of this program, And I really truly believe in the value of it. And all of these people up here really truly believe in the value of it. So when we talk about what exactly is Insight, it's a transformational experience at the high school level. It is not the same as your traditional class in a couple of different ways. One of it is going to be how career immersive it is. This program is really, really developed to help students start to apply their learning in authentic, real world ways that mimic the career areas that they are considering pursuing in the future. It's our ultimate goal that a student will come out of this experience really having a better idea about whether this career path is a good fit for them. And if it is, that's fantastic. And if it isn't, that is also fantastic because we always want our students to find that out and make those decisions before they leave us and before they go and spend time and money and resources potentially on something that isn't going to be satisfying for them in the future. So that's ultimately one of our goals of this program. If you are aware of our Pewaukee School District, you're probably familiar with our graduate profile. Our 6 C's, as we call them, are competencies. This is really what we want all of our students to embrace as they leave us. Our goal as educators in this district is to ensure that all of our students leave us being able to compete, create, care, commit, contribute. I think I got them all. I'm not quite sure. Care. I missed care. How can I miss care? I will joke around with the kids and say that Insight is the graduate profile on steroids, because we really take everything in the graduate profile to the next level within this particular program. And hopefully, after we walk through some of what the experiences are in this program, you'll have a better idea of that and you'll see how that actually looks. Now, we have several different what we call strands in the Insight program. Each strand really focuses on kind of a different career area. However, all of our strands have several things in common. One, academic rigor. This is an expectation that we have of the Insight program that it is not a cakewalk. We want our students to come away out of this experience having had stronger expectations of themselves and to really take a level of ownership of their own learning. In addition, all of our students have a lot of different experiences with career and community immersion. I will talk a little bit more about that in a bit. All of our students also have opportunities for mentorship, and I will explain that later on. And then all of the vast majority of our courses have some level of either college credit or industry certification affiliated with them. Not all, but the majority do. So get ready for the ride. We're going to walk through all of our courses and I'll explain a little bit about how all of these look in action. So our courses next year, we're going to go right into these. We're going to start off with aviation. I am unbelievably excited that we have this course. It is in our 2nd year right now. The aviation industry is facing incredible shortages across all areas. I think in the next 10 years, they're forecast to be short about 80,000 pilots alone. That's not including the aerospace engineers. It's not including air traffic control or all of the different maintenance and technicians. It does not include the booming industry of UAS or unmanned aircraft systems, the drones, that are involved now in everything from agriculture to real estate to retail to the military, biology and science. It's everywhere. So we are incredibly fortunate to be one of the few schools in the state of Wisconsin that offers an aviation program. In this particular class, students will be learning about a lot of different areas of aviation, specifically an introduction to flight systems and aircraft systems and performance. So they will have a lot of different opportunities to learn about how aviators speak a different language when they talk to each other. They'll learn about weather and meteorology and how this impacts all of your systems. It's a very heavy physics and STEM course for our students. We have an amazing community member who donated a flight simulator to us a couple of years ago, and we have that here in the high school. All of our students that are in the aviation program through this program have the opportunity to learn from him how to use this flight simulator. And they are able to access the flight simulator both during class and if they are in the aviation class during free time as well, to practice and start to explore what it's like to feel like they're flying. That room is locked. It's a very expensive piece of equipment. So the only students that are allowed to access that are those that are in the aviation course. The other thing that is brand new this year that I am fingers crossed hoping will be able to be something that we can sustain moving forward is that through the same generosity of this individual, we have the opportunity for all of our students, if they so choose, to participate in a discovery flight this spring. A discovery flight, if you are not part of the world of aviation, is kind of the next step once you've decided that aviation is something that you might be interested in pursuing. And it's a one-on-one experience with a certified flight instructor where they take you up in their airplane. And when they will show you what pre-flight and post-flight checks are, they'll take you up into the air and you will have the opportunity to fly a little bit with a certified flight instructor. This is in many ways the game changer of whether or not a student loves aviation and is ready for this, or if it's maybe not an area that they're interested in. So these do cost money, but due to the generosity that we have through this partnership with this incredible community member, we have the opportunity to offer that to any of our aviation students this year that are interested. The aviation class itself is 1 credit. And again, it's an introduction to flight and its aircraft systems and performance. This particular class is held all year on alternating days, and it is open to students in grades 10 through 12. It is held here at the high school, and again, students have access to that flight simulator at times if they're interested. We do ask that when students are in this particular class, if you are interacting with anyone in the community, your mentor, for example, or guest speakers, we do ask that you dress business casual to reflect the expectations of the aviation industry. And then the other piece is, while there isn't a direct industry certification that's associated with this, the content in this class is part of the critical content that you need for 2 different exams in the aviation industry, should this be something you want to pursue. If you're interested in becoming a pilot, one of your steps is to take the FAA written exam, and this class will give you a ton of the background information you need in order to prepare for that. Additionally, there is an exam called the Part 107 exam if you're interested in becoming a certified drone instructor. I'm sorry, a certified drone operator. And that is a test that this course will also give you critical background information that you would need in order to pass that. On a side note, if you're interested in drones, at age 16, you can actually become a certified drone operator. So if that is something that any of our students are in, this could give them a leg up to really getting that career started, particularly for all of our future entrepreneurs that want to kind of get a side gig started while they're in high school. Okay, elements of health and medicine. This is our second strand. This strand is incredibly immersive in any patient-focused area of healthcare. This particular class takes up 2 hours of every single day, first and second blocks of the entire year, A and B days. Okay, so this is a big commitment for our students to take this, but this is an incredible opportunity for our students that are interested in healthcare to decide if it's really for them, or if they are convinced healthcare is right for them. It's a great opportunity for them to start narrowing down the field to figure out what specialty area are they looking for in healthcare, because that industry is incredibly broad. These students will do a lot of different things in hospitals where they get to go and see what different departments look like in action. They will use equipment to do different types of lab work and testing that, quite frankly, a lot of the time you do not experience until your second or third year of college. That's actually one of our students' favorite parts usually, is that they call it the pipetting. I don't know exactly what the details are of that, but they all love that lab in particular. And then in the second semester of this class, the students really do a capstone project that is an area of interest to them in the healthcare field. So this class is intense. They go to WCTC for the first 6 weeks of the school year, and they actually take the CNA program there. So we just finished, our students that are in the Elements of Health and Medicine program this year just completed the CNA program. They are now ready to take their state test. Should they take their state test, they will be CNAs. This is incredibly beneficial for several reasons. One, when we do field trips, if you are a CNA, that opens doors that HIPAA typically has closed for you. So that allows us to get our students more behind the scenes access at hospitals and clinics. Two, CNAs are desperately, desperately needed right now. So finding a job as a CNA as a student is incredible. And quite frankly, it pays more than McDonald's. And third, if you want to go into healthcare and let's say you want to be a neurologist or you want to be a registered nurse in the future, you do need to acquire patient care hours as part of your educational process after high school. If you are a CNA, you can start building those hours now. So that actually opens up and can fast track you a little bit in that process. Now, I will say this about the class. This is when you are a CNA, you are working directly with patients. And so there are patient care hours where you are working with individuals, usually in a retirement facility, with personal cares and things like that. So that is something that if a student is not comfortable with blood, with helping someone use a restroom or brush their teeth, this class might be a challenge because you do all of these things in this particular class. It's open to 11th and 12th graders only. And like I said, it is held both here at the high school and at WCTC. It's first and second hour every day of the entire school year. And we do expect professional dress when you're interacting with mentors, but a lot of times you'll actually see our students walking around in scrubs because that's where they might be coming from WCTC or they might be coming from a site and their apparel reflects the industry. So you might see them walking around in scrub pants sometimes, and you can tell right away that that's one of our Elements of Health and Medicine kids. I will say this about WCTC, they follow their grading policy, not ours. And so that's always a caveat that we let you know. They typically do not communicate with with parents at all, nor do they communicate with us about grades. So that's just something we always want to say on the front end. You have to rely on your student to share how they are doing in that particular course because we won't know until the end of the grading period. We do have a potential cap to the number of students admitted to this. That is because WCTC has a limited number of seats that they can give us. And so we sometimes have to have a wait list for this particular course just because we fill the available seats. Some of the other things that you should know is that there's 3.5 credits associated at the high school with this particular experience. So students get a math credit in here, advanced mathematics and analytics, because healthcare professionals are using math all the time as they are analyzing all the data. So they get their math credit built into this experience. They also get their PE credit built in. So even though it takes a lot of time in their schedule, some of their requirements are built in so they're meeting those. So they can still experience other classes that they enjoy and electives in the afternoon. The CNA course is in there, medical interventions, which is a Project Lead the Way course, and then we have health and medical clinical. The prerequisites for this class. We do require that students they have to have Math 3 either completed or they can take it consecutively, but that means they're doubling up on math. And then there is a fair amount of paperwork that WCTC requires. Actually, it's more like the state that requires it in terms of vaccines and other things like that that have to be required in order to be a CNA. So that is something that is part of the program. All right, global business. Global business is a class that is also held the first 2 hours of every day. And it is not held at our high school, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But in this class, our students that are interested in all different areas of the business world really get exposure to what it's like to combine content areas of communicating an ELA through the lens of business, project management, economics, both micro and macro, and really working with the community. In this particular course, students will work in teams of 4 to 5 students on real projects for real companies. So we have a lot of different community partners, and they will come to us with different types of projects, not the ones that are going to make or break their company, but the ones that are really interested in getting a project done that's been on their list that they haven't had the time or the resources to tend to. So one of my favorite stories is several years ago, we worked with the Milwaukee Bucks. They did not have an inventory tracking system for all of the different things that they would throw up into the stands during the games. So they were sending people down to manually count boxes to figure out when supplies needed to be ordered. Not a project that is going to make or break the Milwaukee Bucks. However, it was an inefficiency. So their project, their ask of us, was to research inventory tracking systems that comparable sports teams used within the certain kind of fence posts that they gave us, the certain non-negotiables of whatever they needed the program to use. And that's what our team of students did. And so over the course of the year, they researched inventory tracking systems. They consulted with other teams that were comparable in size and financial demographics to the Bucks, and they ultimately presented to the executives what they recommended they choose and why. So those are the types of projects that our students are doing. They work hard because they know it matters. It's really important to a real company, and they are learning about economics and communicating in business and labor market information, all through this particular type of environment. In this particular class, you earn 4 different credits. So it does take up first and second hour of every day, all day. But you do get business and project management. That's a credit there. Advanced Comp and Com, which is your ELA credit. So your English requirement is built into this. You get AP Economics. There's a catch to that. And then Business and Community Connections. With the econ, you can take it as AP, but most students are now choosing to take it as college credit in high school because you can earn up to 6 credits in econ through this program, through the UW Green Bay. So when we talk about college credits and rigor in the classes, this is a huge piece to be able to walk out of one class with 6 college credits in your back pocket. That's incredible. We also are kind of looking at different industry certifications in this field. We've piloted a couple of different ones. I don't think we found the one that we love yet. So we're still playing around with that, but that's our goal, is to also start building some of those in. Let's see here. This class is held off campus. We lease a business space in the Pewaukee Business Park. So our students go to the office for this class. They have to dress professionally, just like you would in the business world. Fridays are dress down days, and they all take advantage of that. Some of them will actually bring a change of clothes because the idea of spending the full day outside of hoodies is unbearable in their mind. But they are expected to dress professionally in here. And if a lot of our students, because it is 11th and 12th grade, do have access to a vehicle. And if so, they can sign some paperwork and they can drive themselves to and from the Insight office. However, that is not a requirement. We do have a van shuttle that will run back and forth. So if a student doesn't have access to a vehicle, this will not preclude them from participating. Okay, Impact. Impact is a course that we've had at the high school now for, I think, 2 or 3 years. And next year it's coming under the Insight umbrella. Impact is meeting a need for us in Insight in that it's a course where a student can pursue a passion project. So in this course, students will choose a topic and really do a deep dive into the design thinking process, develop a project that they work on either on their own or maybe with a partner to make some sort of an impact in some capacity, whether it's on their life or the broader community. So this is Taylor up here. Taylor, it was one of our former students. She just graduated last year. She was an impact, and she put together an absolutely enormous fundraiser for Special Olympics that was all over the place. It raised an incredible amount of money. This is something that was really close to her heart. She is pursuing a degree in special education, and so this was a course and a project that she embarked on while she was at the high school. This class is open to grades 10 through 12. It's held here at the high school. It is 1 credit. It is every other day for the entire year. And we are currently exploring opportunities for college credit to also be associated with this class. If that happens in time for next fall, it will probably be a 3-credit elective class. So we are currently exploring that opportunity. We are just waiting to get some final details on that, but fingers crossed that that works out for us, because we'd love to be able to embed some college credit for all of the work and design thinking that they do in this class. Different examples, a lot of students will use this class as like an Insight 2.0. So if they take Insight 1 year and they really like the Insight experience and then they want to continue in it, but they maybe can't, they've taken the class and we don't have another one, they might take Impact, because they can do a deep dive and continue to further their experience in whatever area of passion they have. So we have students in there that are doing a variety of different fundraisers. We have some students right now that are building events for pet adoption. We have students that one is writing a children's book. We had one last year that is planning on being an author and was drafting her first novel. So these are year-long projects that the students engage in, and it's a great opportunity for them to really do a deep dive into something that they're passionate about. Okay, journalism and media. Journalism and media is a course where our students that are interested in whether it's broadcast, sports marketing, writing, any type of social media strategy, podcasts, anything like that, photojournalism, this is a great opportunity for those particular students. These students run everything from our announcements to PHS productions. If you've seen that, they write the hook, they're in charge of the anchor. They cover events throughout the school, whether it's sporting events, plays, etc. They do a variety of different types of things. One of the new things that they've embarked on lately is that there is a class, a group at Horizon Elementary that is super interested in writing and production and broadcasting called Hook Junior. And they are serving as mentors to this group of upper elementary students that are really passionate about this as well. And they're having a ton of fun with it. So they do a lot of really cool different activities. In this particular class, I will say this class has grown tremendously in popularity in the last couple of years. It's open to 10th, 11th, and 12th graders. It's held here at the high school. It is 1 credit, so it is every other day for the entire year. We do recommend, or we do require, I'm sorry, professional apparel, again, when you are working with mentors. The prerequisite for this course is writing for the media. So that's a semester-long class that students have to take in order to take this particular class. But that's open to freshmen. And the other piece that's really cool about this is that you can take this class more than once because it's different every single time you take it. So you can constantly do a deep dive. We have students in here right now that are planning on pursuing journalism as a career, and they are taking this course for the 3rd time. And they are just going deeper and deeper into their career field. Something new for us this year is we've also introduced Adobe as an industry certification. We have 2 different options. Students will choose one of the 2 certifications based on what aligns better with their career interests. So they are working on that in this particular class. Okay, serving others. Serving others is a class designed for those that are interested in human services. This might be counseling and therapy. This could be education. This could be public relations, public policy. This is a great home for those particular types of students. Here they work extensively doing service learning within our community and then also working with the other students in our district. They work very closely with our 18 to 21 program, which supports students with significant disabilities. They work very closely with our PLE classrooms. And they do, the last week, they worked on planning an activity that aligned with an event that they had at PLE, and they went and worked and they led the students through that particular activity. So if you think about it, a lot of people that are interested in education don't actually get into the classroom to be a student teacher until their 3rd or 4th year in the program. And if you decide at that point that education isn't for you, you're in trouble. So this is a great opportunity for our students to really get their feet wet and work with kids and find out if that's really something that they're interested in doing. For some, it's really cemented it for them. For others, it's helped them change their course. So this class has been incredibly instrumental. Have you guys seen the gnomes downtown that are outside and decorating all of the businesses? That was a collaboration that this group did with our 18 to 21 program. They worked with them on helping them build the gnomes and distribute them to community members. So there's just a ton of different opportunities that these students have been engaging in. This is open to 11th and 12th graders. It is held here at the high school, but they are out and about in the community regularly. You earn 2 high school credits in this particular class. You have a methods class where you're applying a lot of what you're learning, but the other class is psychology, and this is your opportunity to earn 3 credits in from UW Green Bay in psychology. So that teacher is certified to teach, so students can come out of this course with having had 3 credits of psychology in their back pocket. Okay. Technology support. Are you guys still with me? This is a lot. I know. I'm sorry. Technology support internship. Okay, so we have an insane amount of devices here on our campus when it comes to Chromebooks and laptops and all of those different types of things. And we have a growing IT field. So our technology support internship program is one that is kind of a win-win for us, to be honest with you. Our students run our help desk here at the high school. They actually are trained by our IT department in a lot of hardware. A lot of our classes are really focused on software. So if you have a student that's trying to decide if they want to be a software or a hardware engineer, this is a great opportunity because they get both sides of it here. They really get to dig in. They learn what the inside of these devices look like, how many tiny itty bitty little screws can be in one of those Chromebooks. It's absolutely insane. And they work on how to replace broken cameras, cracked screens. They learn how to troubleshoot, etc. So they really provide a lot of first line defense for us in terms of our devices. Now, a couple of things to know about this program that are a little unique. It's open to 10th through 12th grade. It is repeatable. So we have students in this program that have taken it for their 3rd consecutive year. This class can be taken for a semester, or it can be taken for a year. So you can earn a half credit or a full credit, depending on what fits into your schedule. Another one of the beautiful things about this course is that we need people at our help desk every single hour of every single day. So it fits really, really nicely into people's schedules because we can just slip it in wherever there's a great spot. And then the students work towards industry certification. So there's like an ebb and a flow to the help desk. You might have a lot of devices that need repairs and you might not have anything. So our students during their downtime, they're working on different industry certifications in the IT field. We help guide them. We have a menu of options to choose from, and we really help guide them as to which one might be the best fit depending on what area they would like to go into. Because if we have someone who's in TSI who maybe wants to go into healthcare, we might recommend a different type of certification from someone who wants to be a hardware engineer or go into cybersecurity. This year I have a student who wants to be a soundboard operator. So she came forward and asked, like, is there an opportunity for me to have a certification where I'm working towards the industry in theater? So we were looking for those types of opportunities. So there's a variety of different avenues that a student could go. In terms of prerequisites, a clean technology record is really important to us. Now, that doesn't mean that if you have one hiccup on your record because you were caught with your phone in the hallway or something like that, that's going to preclude you from participating. However, when you are in this program, you do have access to behind the scenes things with technology. So we do check your discipline and we make sure that you are someone that is trustworthy. That is really important for us in terms of the sustainability of this program. Additionally, we do have a half-day boot camp, we call it. It's usually in the summer, the week before school starts. That's usually when people kind of have all kind of regrouped back home from vacations and things like that. And during that time, our students work with our IT department. Our IT department brings in a variety of different devices, and the kids get their hands-on experience really opening these devices up and seeing what they look like, and then practicing some repairs so they can hit the ground running on that first day of school. So those are the 2 different pieces that are kind of a little bit unique to our TSI program. And then our last strand, this is the last course, I promise, is our world translations. For this particular class, our students work on authentic translations for industries, for different companies, for our school district, to help us translate everything from instruction manuals, HR documents, parent communications, like forms might be translated, those types of things. We don't have confidential pieces that are translated. Everything is overseen by one of our world language teachers who is a certified translator. So she does have all of those levels of approval that are needed. But there's a variety of different types of experiences that they will have, and they will learn how the world of translation is really, really different from just speaking a second language. Our students will translate to and from English to Spanish, French, or Chinese, whichever languages that they have explored and really mastered during their time here with us. This class is open to seniors only, and the reason for that is because there is a requirement that they have successfully completed 4 full levels of Spanish, Chinese, or French 4. So that means that they would have need to have come in as a freshman at the second level, sophomore third, and then junior fourth in order to successfully get to that level for their senior year. So we do recommend they need a B or better in that particular 4th level class. And so it is a half credit. It is second semester only. And so it is just, it slides in pretty easily to your schedule. So that is definitely, that's held here at the high school, and that one, that's a fun one. And you get to work really closely with 3 different world language teachers, which is just a bonus. Okay, so those are all of our courses. Now let's talk about like the expectations and the experiences in general. So students get a lot of benefits from participating in Insight, regardless of what the actual strand is that they may or may not choose. Mentorship, I'm going to talk about in a minute. That is a huge piece of this program. As you've seen, we have college credits and industry certifications through several of these classes, and they work a ton with community members. And this is really, really critical because we want our students to be able to interact professionally and appropriately with people who aren't their peers, who aren't necessarily family members, and really explore that level of professionalism before they graduate and leave us. Sorry, it's a lot of talking. And there's a lot of authentic application of skills through this. We do have some, the other piece that I really like is this is a really unique topic for college application and scholarship applications, because there aren't other schools that have Insight like us, or very few of them. And the ones that exist, we've kind of helped create most of them. So it's a unique opportunity for them to have something to speak to when they are writing about those experiences. You're building up your resume and you are developing and accruing experience before you leave us in a lot of areas where they're looking not only for the education, but the experiences in order to open the doors. So I've got a couple of quotes up on the next couple of slides that we have. We do survey all of our Insight students every spring along with their families, our mentors, etc. And we get some great feedback about what's really working well and what their favorite parts of the program have been. The mentorship piece is something that is very, very unique to Pewaukee. In Insight, we, when a student is accepted into Insight, I survey them and I ask them, what is the career that they are interested in pursuing? Or maybe they're undecided. So what's something that's in your top, maybe 2 or 3? And if you are completely undecided, what's something that you want to rule in or rule out? And my summer is spent finding them a mentor. The mentors that we have are matched to them personally. So we have 1 mentor per student. We want our students and mentors to accrue a lot of rapport. We want them to work well together. So it's really important that we find a match that's good for them, and that we make sure that we don't overburden our mentors as well with scheduling and working with too many students. We have our mentors pass 2 different levels of background checks. And we do that on our end prior to sharing the mentor's information with the students. This is a relationship that we expect our students to own. Our mentors should not be trying to track down their student. We expect that the students will reach out for the duration of the mentorship relationship, which is usually about October to May. And we expect that they reach out 1 to 2 times per month via email and then have 1 meeting per month. And we expect that our students create an agenda and have questions prepared in advance to talk to their mentor about. They can talk about anything under the sun that's related to the career. We give them discussion topics to help guide those dialogues. And our mentors also go through a training as well. But it's an opportunity for our students to talk candidly with someone who isn't an adult at home and who isn't a teacher about what the career truly looks like in action. And this has been, ever since we've started the Insight program, the strongest part according to the feedback that we get from our students every year. This is the part that helps them cement or change course. And this part has been incredibly beneficial. Last year, we had 190 students that were matched one-on-one with a mentor here in the high school. Our goal is to continue to increase this and scale it until we can get to the point where all of our students that graduate from Pewaukee have had at least 1 year of mentorship experience with us. We truly believe that it's a labor of love and it's something that helps set our students up for success in the future. My favorite days are the days where I get emails from former mentors or former students. I got a email about 3 weeks ago from a student who is he's in his senior year of college right now, and he was in the Insight program a couple of years ago, and he stayed in touch with his mentor and ended up at his dream internship at his dream company, and his mentor worked with him and helped him prep for the interview. His mentor was the one who told him about the internship, so he had some inside information on it. I got another email from a mentor earlier this year who just wanted to reach out and let me know that even though he has continued to be a mentor for us here every year because he loves it, he is still in touch with the student that he first mentored 4 years ago who is now in college. And he wanted to reach out and say, hey, we just wanted to let you know that we're still in touch and he's doing really well. We have students that we always tell our students, you will get out of this mentorship experience what you put into it. So if you do the minimum, you'll have probably a pretty good experience. But we've had students that have exited this experience with opportunities for scholarships, for internships, to have opportunities for lifelong friends and mentors. And it's been incredibly valuable. And so if there's anything that we want our students to really take away from this, it's to maximize this particular part of the experience. We expect there is an application and an interview process to Insight. We do not have requirements in terms of what their grade point average might be. But what we do look for is work ethic and intrinsic motivation. The students in the Insight program need to be able and ready to work without hand-holding. They need to be ready to be accountable for their learning. And that's something that's really, really important for all of us. We want them to own the mentorship relationship. We want them to take initiative. We want them to work on professionalism and really, truly connecting with people and really look at this as an opportunity to make some refinement to their post-secondary pathways, whatever that might be. We have had students in the Insight program who are planning on going into the workforce. We've had students planning on military, 4-year college, 2-year college, etc. This is not a college prep program. This is a life prep program. So we really try to create this program. So for example, the attire reflects the world of work that a student is embedded in. So like I said earlier, your elements of health and medicine kids, you're going to see in scrubs. The business kids are going to be in business casual clothes. You might see, for example, our IT students in hoodies, because that's really kind of a reflection of how often that particular attire in that field works. A lot of times those individuals are working from home, and that's okay and that's great. So we really want these environments to reflect the reality of the world of work that these students are looking at as much as possible. That's important to us here. So, okay, next steps. Now that I have talked to you like crazy for, I don't know, 45 minutes, in terms of the next steps, the application is due no later than January 5th. That is the Friday after we return from break. That is a hard deadline. Every single year, about 10 minutes after that deadline passes, I start to get the emails from the students who forgot or thought they finished it and didn't. And to be honest with you, this is our first check for whether or not they take accountability and responsibility. That is, they have at this point over 5 weeks to complete that application. The application isn't crazy intense. We ask for the student's name, what grade they'll be in next year, what strand or strands they're interested in. Sometimes we have some students that are undecided, so they might check a couple strands to start, and that's fine. And then they have to go through a series of sections where there are a couple of different essay questions. They read the essay questions, and then they select one from that group and answer it. And then they go on to the next section. They read a bunch of essay questions, they select one and answer it. So it's not incredibly cumbersome, but it is representative of the thought that a student puts into this process and whether or not they follow deadlines. Okay, the other piece that they need to have is they need to have enter three teacher names into the application of teachers that would be willing to recommend them. We ask that those are high school teachers. Please don't put down your second grade teacher because that's not reflective of where you are at the moment. These teachers don't need to write a letter of recommendation. All they need to be able to do is say, yes, this student has demonstrated all of the aspects and characteristics that we look for in an Insight student. Yes, you can put my name down. All a student needs to do is, would you go up to them and ask or send them an email and say, may I use your name on the application? And we will double check with those teachers to make sure. So you can't just dump a bunch of teachers' names in there. So we do that double check. And then what will happen? So it's a very tight turnaround. January 5th is a Friday. That's when the deadline closes, midnight that night. The following Monday is the 8th, and I send out a mass email to every single student who has applied for Insight with interview signups. So interview signups will take place the 9th through the 16th. All of those interviews will be taking place here at the high school after school. This part sounds scary for the students. It is a part that we feel that's important, though, because this is part of what students experience in the real world. Now, the interviews themselves are about 15 minutes long, and they're in groups of 4. So we will have 4 students that come in and spend 15 minutes with the teachers in that particular strand of Insight. So it's not completely overwhelming. But we do ask the students a couple of questions that would be similar to what they might be if they receive, if they go into an interview for a job. Now, if you're interviewing for the business strand, we're not going to ask you how much you know about project management, okay? But we will ask why you think you are a good candidate for Insight. What do you hope to take away from this experience that's going to help you refine your post-secondary plan? Those are the different types of questions that we're going to ask. So a lot of students get really nervous about this part, but it's not something to panic. However, it is part of the process that really shows us that a student's interested in this particular experience. And then what will happen is on the 18th, we'll make final decisions on the 17th. On the 18th, I send out notifications via email to every single student who has applied as to whether or not they are being offered a spot in Insight for next year. We do have some strands, like I said earlier, that have caps on them. Our Elements of Health and Medicine strand has a cap. Our Technology Support internship has a cap because the help desk is small and you can't have 8 people behind there trying to fix devices at once. So sometimes we have wait lists for these courses. If a student is not accepted into Insight, I will always offer to meet with them face-to-face and explain to them what it is that we would like to see them focus on. And then we encourage them to reapply the following year with specific guidance in terms of the reason, because we never want to leave a student hanging in terms of you didn't get in because XYZ. We want them to be able to use this as a learning opportunity. So that's part of that particular process, and our goal is to have all students notified prior to having to pick classes for and secure their schedules for next year. That's why it's such a tight turnaround in terms of the interviews and the acceptances going out. So all of that being said, where do you find the application, which is step one? All of your students have been emailed this a minimum of twice already, and they all were supposed to attend a mandatory meeting during resource, either this morning or last week, so hopefully they showed up for that, where all of this was shared with them. However, if you're interested in any more information, PewockeeInsight.com is our webpage or website. You can find information about all of our courses there. And if you go on the homepage, right in the upper corner that is circled in yellow, you will find apply here and you can link directly to the application there. So if you are interested, or if maybe your son or daughter's inbox is a bit of a black hole, that is where you can find the application. If any of you are interested in being a mentor for another student, we don't have parents be mentors for their own students. We want them to work with someone who they're not super familiar with. But if any of you are interested in being a mentor for a different student potentially, you can fill out the Mentors Apply Here link, which is right next to it. And that will essentially initiate a communication, an email or a phone call from me, where I share a little bit more about what it looks like from the mentor's perspective. And then if you are interested, I can help get you started along that process. And all of our mentors kind of hang out in a giant database. And then when I have a match for them, I call or I email and I say, I have a potential match. Is this a good time? And all of our mentors can say at any point, like, no, life just got insane. Now is not a good time. So, okay, that's fine. Then we don't move forward with mentoring for that year. Or I might not call or contact a mentor for 2 years because I don't have a match for them, because the interests of our students really ebb and flow. But we do have an over 97% return rate from our mentors, meaning 97% more than that indicate that they want to come back and mentor again in the future. And we're constantly growing that pool. So we need mentors in every career possible. And if you've been in Pewaukee for any amount of time, you probably know that we are a district that focuses extensively on personalized learning. And it's sometimes hard to capture how personalized learning has impacted students. But one of the ways that I will say is I see it through the students' requests for mentorship. When I first got involved in this program, a student might request a mentor who's in healthcare, and I think I want to be a doctor. And now I get requests for a cardiothoracic surgeon because they are getting more and more specific in terms of what it is they want. Every year, this year I had someone who requested someone who was on a red team, and I'm like, I don't even know what that is. I got to Google that. If you want to know, if you don't know what a person on a red team is, it's kind of a proactive hacker, someone who is hired by a big company to try to break through their own firewalls to try to find holes in it. I didn't know that existed. But commercial welders and commercial divers. I mean, I have had the gamut in terms of requests now for mentoring, and we have mentors all over the United States at this point. So that's a field that we're growing, and if anybody here is interested in being a mentor, I'm going to put a plug in for that because I think it's a great opportunity. And sometimes our parents sometimes feel that there's all these different ways that they can get involved at the lower levels, and all these field trips to chaperone and classroom helpers. And sometimes I think they feel a little bit more disconnected at the high school and not knowing how to get involved anymore. This is a great way to do it. So with all of that being said, that is what I have for you tonight. I appreciate the time that you spent to take and listen to all of this. I appreciate the fact that you are all still awake because I know it's a lot of information. And I am happy to hang out and answer any questions that you have as a group. Otherwise, if you want to leave or come up and approach me individually, I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. My email is up there. Please feel free to email me any follow-up questions that you have. I will be making sure to monitor that, and I will get back to you as soon as possible when I see those emails come in, because I know with the holiday break right around the corner, people are anxious to kind of put some things to bed and figure out some things so they can move on with family. So thank you for your time tonight. I truly appreciate it, and drive carefully.